At Origin, we know moving houses. The keys are missing, the tape ran out, the boxes are too small and the couch is too big. Thankfully, after 3 trips, 2 broken plates and 1 long, hard look in the mirror, you can turn the lights on. Because at Origin, we take the stress out of moving. Get power on next business day when you book your move before 1 p.m. Monday to Friday. Phew! Call 13MOVE or search Origin Moves. Origin. Good energy. Residential electricity customers only must provide safe access to the electricity meter. Excludes public holidays. Availability criteria apply.
Hey. Good evening, good morning,
good morning, good morning.
Hey, Amy.
Hey, Cass.
How are you today?
Good. Hello, community and listeners. That was all them replying. Hi.
Hi.
Good morning, Mrs. Ravel.
Good morning, Mrs. Ferrugia. I was going to say Thompson.
Oh, that's so funny. Throwback to your own maiden name.
I know, weird.
Today's going to be a good episode.
It is going to be a wonderful...
We're doing a fairly broad... Well, it's not that broad.
It's awkward sporting equipment.
Yeah. Hobbies that are just like, where am I going to put 3 sets of skis?
Yeah.
We're going to talk about all those.
7.
Yeah. We're going to talk about all those things that you're like, I just don't know where to put them.
Yeah. So it's going to be awkward sporting gear.
Yeah. How's that for a very enticing clickbait title?
Yeah. You want to click on that, don't you? Oh,
baby.
Yeah. I think we've got the people who are listening are just our raving fans who just tune in every week to
regardless.
hear us because we're silly.
Thank you.
And we make them laugh.
Thank you, friends. Yeah. This episode was oh dear. Can't even put my words together and we've just started. Requested by Megan Gasgoigne.
Yay, Megan, we love you. Megan is part of our course community.
Yep.
And
So her request was around running gear. So we're going to tackle things like snow gear, cycling gear, water sports gear, when you're into running or gym, or what do you do with all the stuff that comes with your chosen extracurricular exercising activity?
Yep. We have done a similar but different episode. Is number 82 called sports equipment, and that was more for the basketball and the crickets and the footballs and
things that are smaller and you can put in a container in the garage.
Yeah, and that are used often. Running gear. We know Megan is a runner and she loves running, but she also has a lot of it because she does do it every day, multiple times a day even. So she has to have a lot of it.
Yeah.
That's no good just having one pair of shoes and one outfit and one bag with all your little water bottle holders.
Yep. You need the works.
Yeah, you need the whole works.
So do you think that, how do you make a decision on how much of a particular thing that you need? So say you are a runner, for example, how do you decide how many pairs of shoes that you need? Do you have kind of any advice to people if you had clients that you've had to help go through runners specifically?
I haven't had to go through runners specifically, I don't recall. I haven't had a very, 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 very fit client, I don't think. But how I would tackle it and how I tackle it's the same with everything is being really honest and reflective about what it is that you actually need. Like, yes, I don't know much about this topic. I know a lot about the topic of decluttering. I'm talking about running
That's a relief
gear.
because I would hope that like over 110 episodes in, you might know a few things.
Yeah, I do know a little bit. But I don't know about running specifically. But I do know, for instance, if you're, you can have running shoes with spikes on it. Mm-hmm. You can have running shoes that are good for, I don't know, like trail running.
Yeah, trail running different to
road running. Yeah. So
meep.
What about you? Have you worked with a client that is a running fanatic?
I have, but they had like 10, 12 pairs of running shoes. And the hard thing for them was that's the pair I did this marathon in. And what they found is they'd buy a pair of runners, and I don't know if this is, everyone's experience, but buy a pair of runners, wear them in as you're doing your training. Then you've got the runners that you want to wear for the marathon, but they don't have a lot of life left in them after you've really pounded them out, and they don't have the support necessarily that you need, but they're also that pair that you ran the marathon in.
That's a sentimental attachment to it.
And so there becomes this, and then there's the runners that are just falling apart, but the comfiest runners ever. So I think that there becomes this decision-making questions like, would I wear these for training? Would I wear these for the marathon? There might be two different pairs of shoes. Would I wear this for trail running? And you kind of ask yourself some really helpful questions to help you determine how many pairs you need, how many sets of the same type of shoe. And, we're saying shoe, but we could be saying skis. We could be saying, life vests. So many different things, but it's about asking
Bikes.
Good questions. Yeah. Yeah, N+1.
N+1.
I'll never forget that. That just made me laugh so much.
For those of you who haven't listened and heard that before, N+1 is a cycling term. That means how many bikes do you need? N being the
number that you have now.
+1.
+1. Always need one more. I love that.
And I think a lot of people who resonate with this topic, not with the decluttering aspect, but the too much aspect, would co-opt that for any of their sporting activities. It's always how many snowboards do you need? N+1.
So if you're someone who does have this bulky sports equipment and you're not sure what to do with it, and you do happen to have a garage, think creatively about how you can use that wall space or the ceiling space, because you can hang up, great hooks. We've got friends that do a lot of canoeing, and so they've got great hooks on the outside of their garage, so not on the inside, and they just hang the canoes upside down. And it's just simple. Otherwise, they're always on the floor, and you just got to think creatively, how can I use the space that I have? And then if you've got multiples of them, you just stack them.
Yeah. We have a pod to go travelling with, and that is hooked up to the roof.
Oh, yeah, up the top of your garage ceiling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it sits down so that the garage door can go up, but it doesn't hit the car.
Yeah, it's a brilliant idea. You're just using that space that otherwise is just lost.
Yeah. Yeah. So we really want to encourage you to be really thoughtful. Again, this is our theme, being thoughtful.
Intentional.
And intentional about how many things do you need, and do you need to keep things for sentimental purposes, or can you take a photo of them with your, the medal you got for running the New York Marathon? Can you do a photo with your shoes or you lying exhausted on the pavement? Can that, let's celebrate and honour the fact that you did run the New York Marathon, or, whatever it is, and hold on to that rather than the shoes.
Yeah, it's a great idea. And I find, so one of these bulky sporting items that I end up decluttering a lot is snow gear. Because a lot of my clients love skiing, snowboarding, all those other things you do with the snow. Do you have the same in Sydney, or is that a bit of a Melbourne thing?
The snow is further away from us than it is in Melbourne, and maybe my demographic of clients don't ski as much as yours.
Yeah, we have a lot. But what I would find, and I'm sure you can understand, is one of the things that is a predominant theme, and you'll totally get this, is you have a ski outfit for each person in the family, and then what do children do between 1 July and the next?
They grow.
Huge.
Yep.
And then you got to get the next size up, but you've still got the other one because you paid $80 for it. And they
80?
only, well, yeah, possibly.
At Audi.
More than that. But you've paid for it. There's nothing wrong with it. And so you kind of keep it and think, oh, well, if a friend ever wants to borrow it, they can always ask me, which is totally lovely. But perhaps you don't have the space to keep snowsuits for all your friends who might one day ask you for one in a size 7.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So what should they do? What could they do?
They could let it go as soon as the kid doesn't. As soon as you buy that new outfit for them, pass on the smaller one. And if you do have friends that you know go skiing or whatever that sport may be that you've grown out, that your children have grown out of, pass it on to somebody you know, or just donate it or sell it, pass it on. We want to encourage people to just hold on to the things that they need to hold on to and make good space and have good storage and, maintain it really well. We're really passionate about all of that. However, our most passionate topic is letting go of things that no longer serve you in your home. So if your child is 15 and you've got a size 7 snowsuit, let it go. It's probably not, I'll guarantee you it's not going to be good for your 7-year-old grandchildren when they come along in 25 years' time.
Yeah, and see, I think often we think that that's going to be the case. So we keep a bike because we think, oh, well, our grandkids will ride that. But the value of that, the usefulness of that, the quality of that is just going to deteriorate. So actually what you're better off doing is getting rid of it straight away, like Kirst said, and then upgrading or replacing without having this other one hanging around. Mm-hmm. Can I give you an example of that in our house?
Yes, please.
Because, it's always confession time with Auntie Amy. Jesse, my eldest, has outgrown his bike. And so it's just awkward. His knees hit the handlebars, and we wanted to get him a new bike for his 30th birthday, but he had other things he wanted. But we still have the bike that he can't ride. And I was just thinking then, oh my gosh, we'd always thought, we'll get him a new bike, then we'll get rid of the other one. Yeah. Actually, I'm just going to list that one for sale because it's a great bike. And then when he wants a bike, we just go and get him the other bike because the other one's just sitting there. Nobody's getting any use from it. And it doesn't make the new bike come any quicker because the old bike's still sitting there.
And he's not using the old bike.
That's right.
He looks like a clown.
He can't do it. He would have to ride Cal's bike.
Yes.
Okay, that's my homework, is to sell Jesse's bike.
And you wouldn't keep it for Elijah because
Elijah's got the same bike.
Size bike.
Yep, that's a good clarification.
Just checking.
Yep, thank you, because I could otherwise sell it and they go, I have another kid.
Yeah, oops, forgot about you, Elijah.
Yeah, no, they both are in the same, they were in the same size bike. We have some amazing sponsors that help the art of decluttering get on the air every single week. We're on every podcast app, we're on YouTube, and we're even on the inbuilt podcast player in every new Ford car.
So if you want to reach our growing community, we would love you to come on board as a sponsor. If that's of interest to you, email hello@theartofdecluttering.com.au and we will get our sponsorship kit straight out to you.
Problems. It's human nature to hate problems. But why is that? After all, problems inspire us to mend things, bend things, make things better. That's why so many people work with IBM on everything from city traffic to ocean plastic, new schools to new energy, flight delays to food safety. Smart loves problems. IBM. Let's put smart to work. Visit ibm.com/smart to learn more.
Now back to the show.
So skis can go really, really easily up on a wall. I have seen people do, so we're doing charades here. Kirst, can you help?
No.
No, like plastic tubes,
yes.
where you put them on the ground and you bolt them together and then you lean oh my goodness words. You lean the skis in them and then they lean up against a wall and it stops the bottom of the skis falling out and then coming across where the car has to go or the bikes have to go or whatever. Mm-hmm. And that's a really inexpensive way to keep your skis together.
Great. You can put bike hooks up on the wall separately and have them leaning on the
like
bike
fishing
hooks.
rods.
Yeah, like fishing rods.
Yeah.
Or other appropriately holding ski. I'm sure there's specific ski designed holder
Of course
uppers.
There would be.
For the snow gear out of season, you could put them in plastic tubs.
That's a good idea.
So that you're not hanging them in the wardrobe or taking up that spare wardrobe full of ski gear.
You could even do those, the bags that suck out. Yes.
Vacuum bags.
Because snow gear is just like so much air.
Yeah.
Yeah, good idea.
Or feathers.
Me.
Yeah, good idea myself. We talk about this sometimes. We have definitely mentioned it in a few of our episodes, is just borrowing it from friends, particularly if you're not like us, we're not skiers. I wish we were. Simon hates the snow. I wish we were skiing. I wish we had the money, and then I wish we were skiers. But we've come down here in July this year, and we've done it in the past, and we've gone up to Lake Mountain. Like my sister's taken my kids up to Lake Mountain, and we've just done a shout out on Facebook. Hey, does anybody have size 3 ski gears? And we've done that, and particularly now that Audi do their ski sale, and it's quite reasonably priced. People often buy that, even if they don't go skiing.
I know.
So then there's excess around. You can borrow. Not everybody heads to the ski fields, or particularly like in Melbourne, not everybody heads up Lake Mountain all on the one day, so that none of your friends have got ski gear because they're all up at Lake Mountain. So you could do that, or you can, if you want to try skiing and you're not an avid skier, just hire the gear.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Just hire.
Yeah.
Like if it really is a one-off and then you find out that you love it, then make the investment. But hiring stuff is so valid. Hire snowboards, hire toboggans, hire all of that stuff if you can, and then figure out whether this is something you actually do want to create space for in your life.
Yes. For those people who already do, who know that they're skiers or runners or cyclists or whatever other big bulky, or if you're friends of ours that live in the Northern Hemisphere where snow is
part of your everyday,
part of your 6 months of the year. We'd love to hear what you do.
Yes, please.
And we never want to give the impression that we know everything about everything, because we're
happy to give the impression. It's just not true.
Okay. Amy's happy to give the impression that we know everything about everything. So we'd love to learn from you in our Facebook community as well. So come on over to Facebook and find the Art of Decluttering community and get in there and tell us your top tips for storing bulky items.
Sorry, Kess.
Go.
There's also the question of what if you're using items that need to be inside the house? For instance, bike helmets, where in Australia, you don't want redbacks or whitetail spiders climbing in your bike helmet, so you might want to keep them inside or in a garage. Having things together, like we always talk, like with like, so have all your bike helmets somewhere where it's easy to access. When you're going for a ride, you can just quickly go and grab them. So we've got a tub near our front door that's in a unit, and that just has all the bike stuff. And it makes it really easy. So if you're in the Northern Hemisphere or you are in a snowfield area, what do people do when they come in and they take off their snow boots? Do you have somewhere for them to thaw out? Do you have somewhere they're not going to create a puddle? What's your expectation on people? Where do they hang their snowy jackets? Like, I think those things are really good to have in place, even if it's just a hook and a baking tray. That totally works.
Yes, it does. You sound like you know what you're talking about.
Am I not? I do know what I'm talking about.
I know you know. That's what I mean. I was complimenting you. It was a genuine compliment.
One of the things that I think is worth consideration too, Kirst, is when you're packing up items for these bulky sporting or hobby activities, is how would you transport them to the actual thing that you're doing? Mm-hmm. And that's worth considering. If you're a fly fisher, do you need to have your fishing rods, your tackle box, those waders, your gum boots? Does that all need to be together in a army bag? And you just chuck that in the back of the car rather than having to go through boxes or drawers or that kind of thing?
Yeah, and I think that is awesome, particularly if they're very specific. Whereas running gear, you might wear to the gym as well.
Yeah, good point.
So then you would have it mixed in with your everyday items. But for, if you go paddleboarding, do you have the paddleboard, the inflatable paddleboard? I'm talking to my future self here.
I thought you might be. You look a little dreamy over there. We need some dreamy music in the background while you dream of paddleboarding.
I love paddleboarding. But yes, would you have all of that stuff together so that it can easily be chucked in the car?
And I think the beauty of that is it takes away a hurdle to doing those activities.
Yes.
Because you can think, it'd be great to go for a bike ride. Oh, but I actually can't remember where the bike pump is, or do we even have enough helmets if everyone goes? Like you don't have to think. And we're all for streamlining, so you don't have to make decisions.
Yes, and that's why it is really awesome to, if at all possible, like if it's only single use, single time, single purpose, to keep it all together. You know, our helmets are also in our garage. They're hooked on the end of our shoe storage rack, so that kids putting on their shoes, they grab their helmet.
Yeah, it's easy.
Yeah.
And then they have a home.
They have a home.
Because there's nothing worse than coming home from some kind of activity and having all the gear and it just being dumped in the corner of the garage or in the living room because you don't know where it belongs.
Yeah.
So set up a home if you're going to have these hobbies, create space. As Kirst said before, pop a photo in our Facebook community and go, hey, I don't know how to store this. And let us come up with solutions for you. Let our community do a brains trust for you.
Yeah. They're really good for that.
They're pretty amazing.
What about if you have a house near a snowfield? So you have a house in Bright or Jindabyne or somewhere in the US. Alaska, Colorado. Do you have two of everything? So what if
if you've got a friend, do you mean?
No, meaning like, do you keep it in your home in Melbourne or do you just leave it up at Jindabyne or Bright, or what if it's something that you do in two places? Like skiing's easy because you don't do skiing in Melbourne. You only go up to Falls or, you're only going to Jindabyne. Like, so that's fine. You leave that stuff there.
But bike
what if
riding
you
on
have
holiday house?
What if you have a holiday house and you do go for runs along the beach up there, or you do cycling up there? Do you have another set of helmets and a whole another set in your holiday house?
Good question. I don't know. I think it really would depend on regularity,
how much money,
the quality
you have.
of things. That's right. Whether or not you're buying a pretty average bike for down at the holiday house, but you've got your super bike at home, and the ease of transport. So if you've got 5 kids, it's not as easy to transport 5 bikes down to your holiday house. So maybe you do have kind of some ones that are in between where the kids are, so you only have to bring a couple. I think it's worth considering. But I also think minimalist and minimal and simple is less possessions means less organising. So I don't have a firm thought on that.
Are you in the grey?
Oh my gosh, it's the grey. What am I doing here?
Who are you?
Awkward. It's just so grey. Where's the black? Where's the white?
It's not grey. It's multicoloured.
Oh, look.
That's the word I live in.
All
it's
shades of
multicoloured.
grey.
It's not grey. It's multicoloured.
Oh, I love it. Oh,
coloured.
aren't you just fresh?
With my unicorn shoes. I am.
Oh, I love it.
So come over, as we said, in our Facebook group and let us know of your tips for today, because, Amy and I aren't skiers.
We've started the conversation.
We have started the conversation.
Make sure you share this episode with a friend if you've got someone who is a kayaker or a snowboarder or an
paddleboarder.
My sister's just got into archery, and those things are huge. The big bows, like they're massive, massive. So, whatever your activity is, you've got to think about that. I'm going to read out a review.
Go for it.
It is from iTunes USA. And it's Adri Gallagher, says, thank you. I'm a budding professional organiser doing everything I can to make my small startup happen. I mostly clean homes to sustain my growing business. Listening to The Art of Decluttering while working feels like I'm part of a chat with friends. I always take away lessons around practicality. Thanks, lovely. That is really nice of you. I hope your business grows, flourishes, and is amazing.
And we know it will be.
Have an amazing week. Until we see you next week, happy decluttering and organising.
Bye. Thanks for joining us.
If you've learnt something awesome today, we'd love you to leave us a review on iTunes or Facebook so others can find our podcast too.
Don't forget you can see the show notes in your podcast app or over at our website, artofdecluttering.com.au. So if there's anything you want more info on, check it out there.
If you'd like to join our supporter community, you can do so over at patreon.com/theartofdecluttering.
We hope you have a great rest of your day.
And enjoy the freedom.
At Origin, we know moving houses. You try to hire a truck, but the trucks are booked out. The friend with the ute is out of town, the other friend is in town, but you're not really friends. Then you forget the key and run out of tape. Thankfully, after 3 trips, 2 broken plates, and 1 long, hard look in the mirror, you can turn the lights on. Because at Origin, we can help you get moving in no time with our dedicated movers hotline or a quick online sign-up. Phew! Call 13MOVE or search Origin Moves. Origin. Good energy. Residential electricity customers only. Availability criteria apply.